Hey Margaret, it's David Olkowetsky with ArtisanRevere. First of all, I just want to say thanks so much. I really appreciate it. My team really appreciates that you're willing to give our paring knife a test and run it through the paces. Look, like my email said, we genuinely think this is the most ergonomic paring knife ever to hit the market, and it uses steel that's approved by the Navy SEALs. I know people throw that around in all sorts of fantastical ways. This is true. Navy SEALs use Elmax steel in their knives. So listen, I usually do these videos for customers. Actually, in fact, I do a video for every single customer who purchases a chef knife from us and a paring knife from us. We just sort of soft launch them on our website just to kind of gauge traffic, but we're going to pull it off. We're going to offer them just to our Kickstarter backers first at a discounted rate, and then we're going to do a proper, full, real launch late September. So that's kind of the time frame that we're thinking about here. So the two things that we talk about that I talk about during these videos, number one, I give customers the 8.5 steps to making sure your knives last forever. That's number one. And then number two, I perform a quality control inspection on each knife myself prior to shipping it out. I also perform a QC inspection when I get them in, and obviously we're doing a ton of QA and QC during the entire process, which I've set extremely strict guidelines for. So before we get started, I just want to show you, this is your burgundy 3.4-inch ArtisanRevere paring knife. It is made from Elmax steel and has Richlite handles. Richlite is 65% recycled wood pulp. Elmax, I think as you may already know, is made in Sweden. It has a 738 times reduction. This is not an exaggeration, this is an actual figure in CO2 emissions as compared to the closest Japanese steels. Also, it happens to be 40 years more advanced than the closest Japanese steels. But so I'm going to just do a quick slice test. This is kind of the fun test that proves that I can't cheat about how sharp it is. So there we go. There we go. So you can see easily slices through magazine paper. So now, Alexa, off. Sorry about that, totally forgot she was on. So now I'm going to go through our 8.5 steps, and then I will perform a full QC on your knife. So first things first, with this knife and with all knives in general, you want to use them for food and only food, and specifically non-frozen foods. Any knife other than say like a cleaver should not be used on anything that's frozen or like a breastbone, etc. Thin knives like ours are really made for the purpose. Number two, wash and dry immediately. Very important. Elmax is a stainless particle steel, extremely advanced steel, but leaving it in a solution of acid or a highly salty solution, sodium chloride solution, will potentially lead to some minor patination. Very easy to remove, but it's better not to have to deal with it. So wash and dry, ideally immediately. Mineral oil. Where's my favorite mineral oil? Here it is. This stuff is awesome. It's great for wooden cutting boards. It's great for stainless steel. It's great for stain. It's great for carbon steel as well. One drop on the handle, one drop on the blade. All you need to maintain your knives. Bench scrapers. So a lot of chefs, professional cooks, home cooks will do their chopping and then they're scraping with the cutting edge of the blade. Don't do that. Either flip the blade over and use the spine, or invest in the bench scraper. So that's number 5, bench scraper. Number 6, obviously, always avoid the dishwasher. The dishwasher has the potential to, you have the potential to hit up against ceramic or glass plates along the cutting edge, and then of course it's horrendous for the handle. So our handles and other high-end handles as well have epoxy that as one of the binding agents. Epoxy under heat and humidity, or moisture I should say, melts. So you're going to severely damage the structural integrity of the blade, number 1. Number 2, you're going to pull all of the moisture out of the handles, and it's just going to look a lot worse. So avoid the dishwasher. Number 7, best way to store a knife. The easiest way to store a knife is in a leather sheath. That's how I store all of my knives. It's really important to make sure the knife is clean and totally dry before you put it in leather. Leather retains moisture, and moisture is the enemy of steel. All steel, stainless or otherwise, okay? Super important. If you're going to store it in leather, make sure it's totally dry. I have all of my knives in leather. I've never had any issues, including with carbon non-stainless knives. The other really, really convenient way to store it is on a magnetic strip. So the way you would put it on is you'd take the spine of the blade and put the spine onto the magnet and then roll it down. And then when you want to take it off, roll it back and then remove it this way. You don't want to put the edge into the magnet ever. Also, it's really important. I would urge you not to use a knife block. So that's the, these blocks that are like this. So the reason for that is you're going to be dulling the edge every single time you put it in. So it's essentially just like you're cutting. So you're going to reduce the edge life by anywhere from 30 to 40%. Okay, cool. Honing, very important. Daily maintenance. I'm sure they teach us at cooking school. In fact, I know they teach us at cooking school. I also know they teach it wrong at cooking school. So a lot of times you'll see the instructor say, oh, it doesn't matter. They don't know what they're talking about, to be totally blunt with you. We as knife makers see the outcomes of chef knives when they want to refresh. A lot of cooking schools will teach this technique right here. We don't like this for several reasons. Number one, you're cutting into the edge of the blade. Number two, you have the potential to hit somebody that's in front of you. And number three, it's very hard to maintain good edge control this way. The French have a technique of doing this in reverse. This is better. You're not digging in, you're not chopping with the blade as you're doing this. But again, it's not so easy to maintain good edge control this way. A lot of butchers will come in, same exact problems as this, bad edge control, possibility to hit the finger guard right here, and again, you're cutting into the ceramic rod. By the way, ceramic over steel every single time. The right way, the way we show, is putting the heel of the blade along the ceramic rod and slowly and gently moving it back, and then doing the exact same thing on this side. You can do that 3-4 times prior to service or post-service, doesn't really matter. Just remember to clean it off afterwards. For home cooks, we recommend like once every week, once every 2 weeks, basically. And then number 8.5 is sharpening on stones or with an electric grinder. We really like the Work Sharp grinder, the E5, super easy to use. We put together like a really detailed recipe for how to use it properly. We think it's actually better than Work Sharp's recipe. Yeah, stones I won't get into, but when your knife no longer easily pierces through a tomato skin or through a pepper skin or whatever, it's time to sharpen the knife. Don't want to wait too long, otherwise you're going to have to do more work, especially on a hard blade like Elmex. So those are the 8.5 tips to maintaining your knife is in great condition forever. Let's move on to your blade inspection. Okay, super. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to feel the pins. These two are the pins. Make sure they're flush with the handle. They are. I'm going to visually inspect between the handle to make sure there's no epoxy leakage. I'm going to do a straightness test. I'm going to check the cutting edge. Make sure that the grind is straight. Okay. I'm going to check the edge, make sure it's super sharp. It is. Checking for chipping. No chipping. I'm going to check the spine, nice and soft. Check the choil, that's this area right in here, nice and soft. We want to make sure that no customer ever has calluses from one of our knives. So that's good. This is really, really nice. We're going to put it into the cutting board or paring knife. Our paring knives, we don't want them flexing at all. That's good. This one doesn't. I'm going to do a little edge check. We don't want any flex there. That's good as well. All right. So I've done my grind check, and we've already done a magazine check, but let's do one more. Beautiful. All right. So this is a really, really nice knife. I'm very excited to get it out to you. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to send you, a fact sheet, some more background. Just give a holler. Again, my team and I, we seriously, sincerely, really, really appreciate your support. And hope you enjoy your new knife. Thank you so much.